Welcome back once again to the We Don't Know Sports Podcast. It's Chad the Mark with
Mr. Brown
and
Canadian Biggie.
And we're all live on location in the comfy confines of our own houses. But tomorrow we got the big show, which we're going to talk all things Super Bowl. And Biggie, you may not be aware of this yet, but we have a special guest that's going to be joining us tomorrow night. Did Mr. Brown tell you who it was?
No, who is it?
We got Mr. Darren Smith from Kansas City Chiefs. He's a beat reporter for them. He's out on Radio Row, and he's going to drop us a line. Don't know how long we're going to have him, but who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky and get somebody else on camera while he's out there. But he's going to join us on a Zoom call tomorrow night about 8:30. So we'll see so that puts us at what, 5:30 or 4:30 Pacific time?
5:30 out in LA.
So Darren is I'm not a Chiefs fan, but through all the connections we make on social media, the Chiefs stuff is pretty entertaining. And Darren is a real one. Like, he's not a blind, I only see Chiefs red and things like that. He just will be completely honest and critical at times of all things, but he does rock a hell of a suit game. So hopefully he's rocking the suit game out in LA, Beverly Hills and shit. You know, he should be looking sharp.
He's like John Guy. Suits and the haircuts, right?
He's real big on the haircut. He's real big on the suit, and he's also probably lost 100 pounds since I started following him on Facebook. So he's looking real sharp here lately.
Hey, he's gonna be out here by 5:30.
Well, that's 5:30 their time. It's 8:30 our time.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm backwards.
Right. We're not traveling back in time. But
yeah.
Anyway, quickly, just going out to the world of the Super Bowl. We're going to talk a lot of that tomorrow, but I know Roger Goodell had to have his Super Bowl press conference, and I think 45 minutes of it was him trying not to answer questions about Brian Flores. Did you try to avoid it? Did you see any of it? Or do you have any comments about Goodell and his wonderful mic skills and his announcements that he was able to make today?
Here's what I'll say. You talk a lot of times about a guy who talks without ever saying anything. Roger Goodell did that. That's the reason that he's getting however many, what's he get, 40 million a year to be the commissioner of that league?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that press conference is an example of why he's earned that money. He didn't say a damn thing.
He's got a lot of shit on his plate too right now. The Brian Flores thing, and then the Dan Snyder gift that just keeps on giving. That's not going anywhere. And then he had to answer over the fact that there wasn't that many diversity hires really. And now, he's got to talk about how we get to go play games in Munich too. So that's exciting.
Isn't there 3 minority coaches right now total?
There are 4, because I think
biracial. So
yeah, who is that? The one,
the new Dolphins head coach, Mike McDaniel, OC from San Francisco. I don't know why exactly, but he identifies as biracial. So the Niners are going to get 2 third-round picks hired to the Dolphins. Jets head coach Saleh, Santa Claus got promoted in Houston.
Mike Tomlin, Ron Rivera.
Yeah. So we're 5.
Yeah. Hey, good old Mike Tomlin, always going to be there.
I just wanted to say, you mentioned the Washington emails earlier. Like, Dan Snyder was going to hire a firm to investigate himself again, but since the outside world's already decided that the NFL and Dan Snyder were in collusion the first time, now the NFL is hiring someone from the outside, at least for appearance's sake. I just think it's funny that Dan Snyder's like, oh, another investigation? I'll hire my own firm to investigate.
Yeah, it worked so well last time. Why not? But I also saw that the congressional panel that's doing all the inquiries about the NFL and the Washington commies or emails or football team, whatever the hell they're called now.
Emails.
The Washington, you know what? I'm sorry. We'll commit to that. It'll just be Washington emails from here to eternity. So anyway, the emails are under scrutiny with Congress because of the investigation. And like, there's a lot of people just ripping the NFL over the fact that they're not turning over like nearly any of the important documentation, the emails, any of that stuff that they're wanting. And I don't know what's going to come of that, how much flex the NFL's got when it comes to the federal government, but it's not a good look right now as far as that front.
Hey, it's a good look for us because guess what? They keep giving us memes, the Washington emails. We got like Antonio Brown, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, people like that. We love you guys because you give us unlimited content.
The gift that keeps on giving. But hey, it's real quick. Speaking of, I don't know if this is a gift that keeps on giving, but the player for Washington that is nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, did you see what he did on Twitter?
You text something earlier. I haven't seen any of this. You have to explain it to me.
So I don't have it in front of me, so I'll preface and say I could be taking it out of context slightly, but I can't remember even who it is. He's offensive lineman for Washington. He was doing a thing with his followers. You ask me anything, and somebody asked him who are the 3 people dead that you could have dinner with, and I believe he said Michael Jackson, Hitler, and somebody else. And the Hitler.
Was it Mussolini?
No. Hang on. You guys digest that for a second while I look up the actual response here. What are your thoughts just hearing that initially?
I mean, I would kind of like to see Hitler and Michael Jackson at the same table. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
you see Hitler at Neverland Ranch. I mean, come on.
You gotta wonder. It'd be kind of just, I don't know. Having lived so many years from Hitler, would you not want to pick his brain just a little bit? Like, how in the hell did you decide to do what you decided to do?
Right. So I get why his response was what it was. And it's Jonathan Allen, who plays for Washington. And he said his granddad, Hitler, and Michael Jackson. So I don't know if he wants all of them together because that could be very interesting as well. But anyway.
I mean, Hitler would be like, I may have the mustache of a little boy, but I assure you I'm not a little boy.
Dude, Michael Jackson and Hitler get along well, I think. Off camera.
Can we can we just get a dinner of Hitler and Michael Jackson?
That'd be great.
Like we can just do that. That's a movie.
I guarantee you there's a song that comes from that dinner.
So he said Hitler was militarily a genius and he loves military tactics, but honestly, I'd want to pick his brain as to why he did what he did. I'm also assuming that people have chosen to want me to answer my questions honestly. So anyway, then he had to take it down because, of course, here comes the woke mob and everybody else. And look, it's tone deaf for sure, because it's Twitter. You only get so many characters. And anytime Hitler comes up, in all actuality, you probably should have to explain anytime you want to have dinner with Adolf Hitler. But I understand what he was saying, man. I hope people don't end up crucifying him for this, because if the question was simply, let's find some really interesting people that you want to ask why they did what they did, like that's got to be at the top of the list for some people, I would think.
Yeah. If the question had been phrased differently and he had answered Hitler, you wouldn't be having the same reaction as you do.
I just think it's amazing that it's still a conversation. We still talk about Hitler in 2022. Never going to stop. But Roger Goodell is not Hitler, so we'll let him off the hook for now. But how do you feel about games in Munich, though? Is Germany going to be a big stomping ground? I know there's a big military presence and stuff over there for U.S. troops, but are they going to a game in Munich?
That's the reason it struck me. It's in Germany, Munich. Huge military preference or presence. So I think that depending on time in the game, all those sort of things, what they decide to do with it, you could have a lot of Americans at a game in Germany. It's weird, though, because London is more American than Germany is. So Germany, when it comes to football, it's still football. It's the pitch. It's a completely different idea, concept. I'm really interested to see how it plays out with the people of Germany. If there's a fan base, do they decide to go back there, or is this a one-off?
My biggest question is it that same 9:30 start time for us? I don't know the time difference between Germany and London.
Oh, it might be a couple hours earlier now.
Right. But then on top of that, are they going to put good teams out there? We're just going to keep seeing the same dog shit we see every time early on Sunday that we forget to put in our fantasy lineups.
Well, most of us don't have players on those teams anyway.
That's true.
Shad Khan has dibs on London. So who gets dibs on Germany?
All right, if there was a franchise that could move to Germany, who would it be?
The Houston Texans.
That could be true. Why
I was
not?
thinking like the Seattle Seahawks.
They got too good of a fan base.
The New York Jets are pretty irrelevant.
Yeah, we don't need two New York teams. Yeah, we can send the Jets or Giants can go over there. It'd be all right.
Just send the Jets. Nobody will miss them.
Yeah, they'll be like the who? No,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Give the Bucks 2 years after Brady retires. It'll be the Bucks and the Jags. They own overseas.
Yeah,
Actually, the Jets would be a good name for Germany.
the Germany Jets
Yeah.
or the Munich Howitzers or something. I don't know. We can do something like that. So I did want to change gears here real quick. Just I know Mr. Brown, you're friends or acquaintances with somebody on social media. We both are, but I'm sure you probably a little closer maybe. But anyway, maybe not a name that rings a bell to a lot of people, but former Major League Baseball player Jeremy Giambi, not Jason. Some people might remember his brother from his time with the Yankees, but both of them were on the A's. Jeremy was part of the Moneyball crew. He was on that 100-win team, and he unfortunately passed away at the age of 47 today. So when you hear Jeremy Giambi, what are your thoughts? And obviously, thoughts and prayers out to the family. We don't know the situations or anything, but Jeremy Giambi is a name that lives in baseball lore for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, Giambi, the name is a baseball name, whether it's Jason or Jeremy. You think of baseball immediately, and like you said, prayers to the family. We don't know what happened or how it happened, but it was kind of sudden. I don't believe he was sick. I didn't see anything on the social media up until this point, but he was 47 years old. I believe he was doing some coaching, looking at his profile, but gone way too soon, man. And I remember him vividly from Moneyball, on base machine. Obviously, that's why they acquired him. And then, I've seen him on Facebook. So I never could get him in the group, but I saw him interact on Facebook. But I don't know. It's 47 years old, man. We're right there ourselves, so it don't even seem real.
One of the things that not trying to be negative around the situation or anything, but a lot of people know Jeremy Giambi more prominently because of his admission. He was one of the first players that came out and said that he did steroids, and he was tied to that Balco situation, back in the day. And he was just upfront and honest about it. So I'm sure there's lots of people speculating about, time of death or cause of death and things like that, anything related to what might have happened on the field or in the clubhouse prior. But, that's neither here nor there right now. But I think that's what a lot of people might remember from the Giambis is just that Balco stuff, unfortunately.
So let's just paint the positive light, like I said, and let's think of an on-base machine, and let's give the family their space, and wish them positivity during this time. So
there you go. Was he portrayed in the movie Moneyball? I can't remember.
He was in the movie.
Anybody of note play him? I can't remember.
No, so here's what happened. So when they actually, to replace Jason Giambi, they needed 3 players. They wanted Scott Hatteberg, David Justice, and Jeremy Giambi. That was the 3 players to replace Jason Giambi's on base percentage.
It took 3 of them.
Yeah, they threw all 3 of their stickers on the board, and that was their game plan.
I know we always remember who played Hatteberg because it's Star-Lord.
Exactly.
He's went on to some bigger and better things since that role.
I'm just glad his shoulder healed to play Star-Lord because he couldn't even throw back then.
No, I mean, how hard is it to play first base though? Really?
Exactly. It's extremely hard. Tell him why. No, it's extremely easy. Tell him why.
Yeah, it's extremely hard.
Yeah, that was the best scene of that movie in their living room.
Yeah.
That and I always liked the Dave Justice batting cage scene. That was solid scene right there.
Yeah.
The Yankees are paying you $3.5 million
to
play against
exactly.
them.
Yeah.
All right.
But
so
hey, he did get his Coke in the machines. I'll give him that.
He didn't have to pay for it anymore.
So
The other thing I wanted to hit before we wrap up, Mr. Brown had mentioned a movie the other day. I decided to jump on it today. It was my day off, had nothing else better going on. I think my wife kind of watched it with me, but American Underdog, Kurt Warner, and Biggie, spoiler alert, Kurt makes the NFL and wins the Super Bowl. I know you probably haven't seen it yet.
What?
So my question is,
Your buffs.
there's another movie that is centered around Dick Vermeil taking a chance on an undrafted player. Do you remember what the other movie was?
Yeah, it's called Invincible.
Yeah, there you go.
Vince Papale.
That's Dick Vermeil is just the nicest guy in sports to hand out opportunities. So if he was coaching right now, we still would have a shot in the NFL apparently. But he was portrayed by I want to say the wrong name. Help me out, Mr. Brown.
Not Randy Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
And we said that the other night.
Yeah. And he's the not crazy one.
Yeah.
And you were talking about Mike Martz and him playing good cop, bad cop. And I was right. I called it. I said Mike Martz is a bad cop, but was he really the bad cop?
He played it well initially.
But I thought the look of Mike Martz was phenomenal. That
it was great. It was great.
I felt like I was in a time machine. But my only so first of all, movie very life based more than football based. Football is just kind of like the ancillary dream in the background. And I didn't know about his wife's parents dying in the tornado and all that stuff, it was just like bad shit just kept happening to these people over and over again. But somehow Kurt Warner gets his shot in the NFL. And I even started going back and looking at his early stats when he started out. And if I remember correctly, he won the MVP his first full year starting. Is that right?
1999 league MVP, Super Bowl MVP.
I mean, we talk about him as he's the best undrafted player of all time, but I don't know if anybody else ever had that kind of start. And when I was looking at his game log, which I'm trying to pull back up here, like his first few games were just nuts. Like he started out. So the first game, which they showed in the movie, was against the Ravens.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were just coming off of a Super Bowl themselves, right? And that the big defense they had.
Right.
Ray Lewis was shown in the movie as pretty prominent. So Kurt Warner's first game against those Ravens, he did throw 2 picks, but he was 28 for 44 for 309 yards. And this isn't today's NFL. This is 99. So his yards and touchdowns, I'm just going to go through the first few games. 309-3, 275-3, 310-3, 323-5. And then he had this inexplicable 111-1, which they won that game 41-13. So I'm guessing he just didn't have to play much. But like, I remember, and they showed it in the movie when the guy at the grocery store is putting the Sports Illustrated out, and it's like, who the heck is this guy? I had that Sports Illustrated. I remember that, man. Like, I don't think people even appreciate or know the significance of him coming out of nowhere and having the career he had. And then my only thing I was left with wanting more was there was no NFL journey in there. It was like once he got to the Rams, the movie was kind of over. It was just all the stuff before the NFL. And I was like, man, there's still like a story that can be told. Maybe we'll get a sequel. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like it was because like it was all the story of his how he got there. Then I hit pause for something. I was like, oh, there's only like 15 minutes left. And there was nothing much left there, but it was about his journey. It wasn't, I mean, because he'd made it at that point, but you know, he had a lot in the tank after that.
Yeah, we didn't get anything about his wife calling St. Louis Sports Talk Radio and defending his honor, which, you know, all the things he did and stuck with her and the family. No wonder she was calling the Sports Talk Radio, man. She's loyal to that man. That's clear as day.
I like how they portrayed, like in the modern movie. I appreciated how they portrayed Ray Lewis, Marshall Faulk, and Isaac Bruce, players like that. Obviously, it wasn't them, but they did a really good job of attention to detail, I thought.
you kept looking for the players once you saw one, right? Like that's what I was doing. I was like,
I
oh,
did.
there's Akeem. Like it was all the real guys. Like the Roland Williams playing tight end. And
Right.
I was like, holy shit, they
Well,
really got that right.
If you watch like any like 90s sports movie, it's never real players. They just throw like random Joe blows out there.
They just
And it was cool.
They always give him like Eastern European names to make them sound like a badass too when they're white guys.
Yeah. But it's worth the watch for sure. I did not know, and this don't spoil the movie, but I didn't know that he sat that long in Northern Iowa and then finally got to play at the very end. You'd think a talent like that, he would have been playing the whole time.
I didn't either. I did not either. I looked that up too, and I was like, hell, he only played 1 year of college ball at Northern Iowa. And then him going to the Iowa Barnstormers, which played in like a rodeo house or something. I don't know. But I did see this movie. Could have got one thing right. Northern Iowa plays inside. They're in a dome. They had them outside. Wow. Come on. These are the historical accuracies that we got to have. I'm upset. Anyway, Big, you ain't watched it yet, but you plan on checking it out?
I will eventually. I mean, it's one of those where I'd like to see some of this, see the movie for some of the stuff that I don't know in his personal life. But as far as his playing career, I mean, that's been played out pretty well. And now that he's on NFL Network, you kind of get his story constantly. Nice. I will say there is a really open opportunity. If you said it kind of ends right there, his career was pretty abridged. They could make a sequel.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff happened after the first season. We're just going to leave it at that. All right, real quick, we're going to wrap up and call it a night, but we do have the NFL awards are coming out tomorrow, and we're probably going to be doing the show when that happens. So do you got any predictions? You want to go ahead and lock it in now?
Tom Brady retires as the MVP.
Do you think they give it to him because he retired?
Well, I'm hoping. I think votes are supposed to be in before the playoffs start or not?
It is a regular season award, not a playoff award. So no Aaron Rodgers, right? They're just going to not even have anything to do with him.
Like conversation we had before about baseball writers and all that thing. I think that the football guys, there's enough of them out there and be like, hey, Rodgers, you were great, but there was the whole, we'll give it to Brady.
It hurts winning it last year too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Mr. Brown, you got a prediction?
I'm going to go Cooper Kupp, Mr. Triple Crown.
I mean, a wide receiver winning the MVP, unheard of. But, yeah, Cooper Kupp, man. Like, that's
Triple
hard.
Crown, man.
If he's not in the top 5 for votes, something's wrong.
Nah.
He ain't going to win. He ain't going to win. That's who I think should win, okay? That's what I'm saying.
I got you. He should – I'm with Biggie, though. He should at least be in top 3 voting. I think it's probably Brady too, man. Like that's probably who's going to walk away with it just because it's fitting for the Swan song and he'll be forever the oldest MVP of all time in any sport, right?
Except for Julio Franco in the Mexican Winter League at age 56.
That just happened last year, right?
Yeah.
Any rookie of the year predictions on either side, AFC, NFC?
I'm going Chase.
Chase should get it in the AFC, right?
I like Chase. Yep.
NFC.
Parsons.
I mean, that's hard to argue with. It's defense, but man, that's doable. I'm with you on that. I don't know. No, I can't think about who else is out there, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. You guys got anything else before we wrap up?
Eat your vitamins, say your prayers.
Brother.
I still have an audio clip of you melting down doing a Hulk Hogan impression one day.
That's how it first started, brother.
It's gonna make the light of day again here someday soon. But I'll let you guys enjoy your evening. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the We Don't Know Sports podcast. Just a reminder, big show tomorrow night. Darren Smith's going to stop by from Radio Row. We got our special interview with John Abraham that's going to drop this weekend, Friday night at 7 o'clock. So make sure you're subscribing so you can check that out. Whether you follow us wherever you get your podcasts, you follow us on social media, you follow us on YouTube, you can find us. We Don't Know Sports. We're everywhere, baby. Just Google us. We'll pop up. We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.